Hi, this is Tina Vanderwerker with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I am here with Bryan Cady from Scotia Music Academy. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, sure thing. So tell me a little bit about the Scotia Music Academy. What is it? When did it start? And all of the details.
Absolutely. Um, my I opened Scotia Music Academy. I signed the lease in February of 2020. It was actually my first expansion outside of my original school, which is Guilderland Music Academy, which is on Western Avenue in Guilderland.
Okay.
So that was the main location, and then we expanded to Scotia in 2020. And then we own Latham Center for the Arts in Latham as well. So we have 3 locations in the Capital District. Kind of
Wow. Okay.
our own little triangle of music
Yeah.
schools and art schools.
Yeah.
But Scotia's great. We love the location, and right on Mohawk Avenue. Seems to be at least over the last couple of years that we've been there, seeing some new businesses coming in, some growth happening, which I'm very happy to be a part of. And the community is certainly starting to recognize us being there a little bit more. We're now seeing over 100 students a week,
Oh,
which is
wow.
fantastic.
Okay.
Seeing as we started with 0,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
What made you go to Scotia from Guilderland?
Honestly, my landlord, he owns both the buildings that I lease from, and the Scotia location was another music school had been in there doing music lessons
All
and
right.
was not successful. So it was kind of plug and play for me. Like the
Yeah.
rooms were there, like it didn't need a lot of fit up or anything like that. So and he made me a pretty good deal and said, "Hey, I got this
Okay.
empty space. I can't seem to rent it. It's like it was a music school. Like you should do this." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah. Sounds like a
we'll give it a shot."
no-brainer.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
So you just do like after school lessons, or is it like education during the day, or how does your school work?
We do mostly after school music lessons.
Okay.
So right now we're open 5 days a week. We're just adding Saturdays. So we're going to be open Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And most of our lessons do happen in sort of like that 3 to 8 o'clock magic hour.
Right.
I do have staff there earlier, and sometimes we'll get some early day lessons for like homeschool families
Okay.
and
Yeah.
adults, that maybe work like a night shift. They'll come in early for a lesson or something like that.
Right.
But majority, I would say, is not 3 to 8 time slot.
Okay. So it's any age. It's not just, school age kids. It can be anybody that wants a
Yep,
lesson.
absolutely. We have so we start as early as 3 years old. We have early childhood music programs.
Okay.
We have 2 actually. We have one that's called Music Fun Time, which is like a group class environment for 2 to 4 kids. And then we have another program called Animal Adventures in Music, which is one-on-one instruction for the littles, but it takes them through, there's like 9 different books, and each book is like a different instrument. And so they're learning about the language of music, but also learning about these different instruments, with the idea being that by the time they finish, they're ready to choose an instrument to start learning, whether it's a guitar or a saxophone or piano or whatever.
Okay.
So people like them for different reasons.
Yeah.
We don't follow a model of one size fits everyone. It's like we talk to our students and our families and say, what are we looking for? What are we trying to get out of this? So we can help guide them towards the best program. So that's 3 to 5, and then we have lessons on every instrument, including voice,
Okay.
all the way through, up to, frankly, senior citizens. So, we're open to anybody from 3 to 103.
Okay. So you started with the Guilderland School, or the Guilderland Academy. So how long
Sure.
has that been available or open?
So the um, quick history of my business. I actually opened my first music school in 2005 in Albany, and I was renting part of a established music store, but it was not in the best neighborhood. So I was actually ready to throw in the towel after years and years and years. My wife convinced me to, take the leap of faith and try moving my location. So sort of washed my hands of the old one, opened Guilderland in 2017.
Okay.
Again, with 0 students there. And Guilderland is still the biggest out of the 3 locations, where we're seeing over 500 students a week at that location.
Wow.
Which is great, in 5 years. That's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
And basically, I look at communities where I think we could be of service.
Mhm.
And Guilderland was great because there wasn't anybody doing what I do in Guilderland. Scotia, I'll give a shout out to my neighbors down the street. We have Payette Music Traders. They've been there for years and years and years. I don't even know how long. And they're very nice to send me students, which is fantastic. But we are really only education. Like, there's a lot of music stores in the area that sell a lot of stuff and then do some lessons like in the back or on the side. Whereas my company is focused really on the teaching piece of it. We do sell odds and ends, but it's no way, shape, or form the bread and butter of my business.
Yeah.
And then on top of all that, I've been a public school teacher for 25 years. So
nice.
yeah,
Okay.
teaching mostly elementary band. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. So do you see your academy as an extension of like a school program?
Absolutely. We have regular conversations, and it helps too because I'm still part of that network of public school teachers. So we'll talk to the band and orchestra and the chorus teachers and
Right.
what books are you using, how can we support? Sometimes it's financially by giving a donation to a school music program or sending some instruments their way that could be used in the schools.
Okay.
Helping kids get ready for something called NISMA, which is a solo festival. And we got a lot of kids from the fall that came to us for help with musical auditions, like getting ready for school plays and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah,
so you kind of work in conjunction with the school system, which is nice.
Absolutely, as much as we can, for sure.
Yeah. Have you had trouble finding staff to work with everybody since everything?
I have a great staff currently. I've had like one position that's sort of like been a turnstile, and not for any bad reasons. Not like I've had to fire anybody, but it's just kind of like, they've moved on to different things, or it was, part-time for them. And, they graduated while they were in college, and then they graduated and they went to their field, whatever. So, but mostly, I have an amazing group that is as passionate and dedicated to what we do as I am, which is really important. I am looking for a part-time, evening and one weekend a day person. So if anybody watching has any customer service, that's really the name of the game. Has any interest, track me down, send me a resume.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be putting your contact information at the end, so they'll be able to contact you if they're interested. Do they need any musical experience?
It helps to know a little bit, but it's not necessary. It's being a people person is more important because we're a family business and we treat our customers as extensions of our family. Like, we want our students to have an amazing time. And again, it doesn't matter what age you are. Like, music is supposed to be fun.
Right.
And part of that is having somebody who's sitting at the desk or whatever greeting you when you come in. That's a nice person, and not like agree that they have to work. It's like.
So what made you want to open up the Music Academy?
Frankly, when I first opened it, going way back when, it was lack of job security. As in, music teacher in public school.
Yeah. That's tough.
Every time the cuts came up, it's like, am I gonna have a
Yeah.
job at the end of this?
Right.
And I love what I do. So, not that I would be afraid to go, flip burgers or do whatever you had to do. But I'm like, well, if there's a way for me to keep doing what I'm passionate about, if this public school life doesn't work out,
Right.
let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But it seems like the public school thing has worked out, luckily. And then you've also been able to grow this business. So
yeah. Wearing both hats. Yeah. Fairly
yeah,
well. I'm a little
keeps you
tired.
busy. I was just gonna say, if you're teaching during the day and then now you're working at the you do
Yep,
whatever you do at night on the
absolutely.
administrative stuff. And
Yeah.
so
Administrative and teaching some lessons still at private
I was
lessons.
just gonna say, so
Yeah,
are you teaching lessons as well as doing like the background kinds of stuff too?
I am. I am. I think I have,
Yeah.
I don't know, about a dozen students privately that I'm still working
Okay.
with. So about 6 hours a week, give or take.
Yeah. Do you work in all the locations or do you have students specifically in one place or the other?
The only place I'm not teaching right now is Latham. So I have
Okay.
um, Tuesday nights I'm at Scotia, and I do about an hour on Monday and an hour on Fridays at Guilderland. So
Okay. So you have to figure out where you are and what day is it? Where am I going to be? What am I going to
yeah,
do?
yeah, for sure.
Nice. Nice. Great. So tell me a little bit about your book. You have a book that just came out.
Yeah, that was yeah, I'm super excited to be. I can add published author to my resume now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw a need as a school teacher and in this private lesson business, where so many parents over the years preface a lot of conversations with me with, I don't know anything about music,
Yeah.
because if it's not our thing, we don't really do much with it, right? Like, there's a lot of adults that are like, oh, I played the trumpet for a year, or, I played flute in elementary school. It wasn't for me. And, by the time we're, have children of our own, we've forgotten a lot of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, there's nothing to me more frustrating as a parent, and I have two kids of my own, than not being able to help them with something that they're interested in or that they need help with, whether it's music or math, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you want to be able to help your kids and support them. So this book is sort of it's literally called the Parent's Guide to Raising Musical Children. And, it's not heavy reading. It's just like a handbook, frankly.
Okay.
Gives you a crash course in the language of music, like what do reference material, just so you can have an idea of what your kids are looking at. It gives ideas of what to expect when they come home with an instrument, or if you have a third grader, what to expect when they come home with that magical instrument called the recorder and why it's actually important.
I remember the recorder. Yeah.
Oh man, brutal.
I
It's
had an
actually
argument with
beautiful.
somebody that said that wasn't a real thing. I'm like, what do you mean it's not a real thing? It is a real thing.
It is, and when it's played professionally, it's a beautiful instrument.
Yeah.
In the hands of 7 and 8 year olds, it's more of a instrument of war, I think. But there is value behind it and
Yeah.
rationale.
Yeah.
We talk about strategies to help kids stay engaged with music, because, and I always feel like I'm 100 years old when I say this, but kids today, but
Yeah.
this has changed education in a very real way, because
Yeah.
literally the world's at their fingertips. They
Right.
are never going to have to deal with going to a giant bookcase filled with the Encyclopedia Britannica and pulling down volumes and going alphabetically to try to research something. It's, hey, Google or Siri or whatever the case may be. It's right there. So a lot of them think, I'm going to open this instrument case, or I'm going to try to sing because everybody sings, and it's just going to happen naturally. It's going to be amazing. And sometimes it does,
Yeah.
but 98% of the time it doesn't. And that leads to frustration very, very quickly. And so as parents, we have to come up with ways, if we recognize, and that's also talked about in the book, that if we recognize the importance and the value of music now more than ever, because it's not instant satisfaction. Like, this is something you have to work at and keep working at in order to make progress of any sort. There's a lot of life lessons there, and a lot of value in terms of how we raise our kids. You know, when kids get frustrated or it's not easy for them because they're used to easy, opening that Chromebook, like, you know, I could hand my 6-year-old nephew my phone and he would probably know how to do stuff on here that I don't know how to do. Probably, right? It's very intuitive for them. The first go-to response is, I don't want to do this. I want to quit. And so I get a lot of parents that are like, well, I don't know how to help them, which is frustrating as a parent. They don't want to do this. And it's just, we got to pick our battles.
Right.
And this is a battle worth picking. So again, I talk about strategies. Like, what can you do? You know, at the end of the day, we want music to be fun and enjoyable. So let's find a way to make that fun and enjoyable and keep them involved with it in some way, shape, or form. Not every kid's going to grow up to be, you know, the next Ed Sheeran or, you know, whoever. But there is value in it. We talk about, you know, the middle school bump where no kid ever wants to do anything, how to get over that. And then we do talk about, like, you know, what to look for, like, if you want to take it to the next level and get private music lessons. Why private music lessons? Because you're working with a specialist. I'm a band teacher, but I majored on trombone in college. Now I can play every instrument, but my best instrument is the trombone, right? So if you have a, you know, a child that's, you know, loving the flute, and your band teacher isn't a flute player, like, lessons with a actual flute teacher is going to level them up. No different than going to the doctor, right? Like, we all have our primary care physician. That's, you know, I got to scratch a bump and ache, a pain. But if you got a heart problem, go see the cardiologist.
Right.
That's that.
Right. Yeah.
So we talk about that, things to look for, what to expect out of your school programs, the private lesson programs, outside opportunities for kids in music. You know, locally, we have the Empire State Youth Orchestra. We have a small community orchestra in my own music schools called Signature Strings.
Nice.
There are, you know, singing opportunities with, like, Pro Musica, and different chorals in the area. So again, helping parents to understand that it's not just the school bubble where music exists. There's a larger community, you know, organizations that your child can be a part of, just like traveling sports. You know, there, if you look for it, you'll find it. But a lot of people don't know that they should look for it. So
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, my daughter played the flute when she was younger and she loved it and she did really well at it, but then eventually, you know, she had to choose between flute and studio art, and she went the studio art route. And my son, you know, my son was in chorus all the way through high school and a little bit in college. So, you know, it definitely depends.
The arts piece, because I was the art and music kid too, and, like, had to fight, like, no, I don't want to do one or the other.
Right.
Both of these are important. Right. Like, you know, and frankly, when it comes to public school, the squeakier the wheel, the more grease it gets. So it's like, go in there, ask for the meeting.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad, you know, and I'm sure that she hopefully still has an appreciation of music and, you know,
for sure,
what's involved with it. So
yeah. Great. Well, great. Is there anything else you want anybody to know about the Scotia Music Academy or the Guilderland Music Academy or Latham Center for the Arts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we are
all your places.
We're everywhere. But as far as Scotia goes, again, you know, we are really, really happy to be part of the community. You know, I have some great teachers at the studio. You know, all the band, orchestra, voice, instruments are covered. We have a lot of piano students. And drum set students, guitar. Sometimes, if I had to categorize, how many lessons of what we teach, most of it is the stuff that kids aren't getting in school, right? So we have a
Right.
lot of piano students, a lot of guitar, a lot of voice stuff, because we have choir in school, but most schools don't have actual voice lessons until high school.
Right.
So we have a lot of students that, especially with things like The Voice and America's Got Talent, and it's become
Oh,
more part of
sure.
our culture of
Yeah.
like, 8-year-olds can get up there and sing amazing things, which they can, but they have to learn to do it the right way.
Right.
Or they can actually hurt their vocal cords. So we got to be careful with young kids.
Sure.
But we are here. I truly believe in being part of our community. We do our best to give back as much as possible. Supporting different things during the holidays. We support things of our very own, which isn't a Scotia thing, but it's a Schenectady thing.
Yeah.
We try to help them out throughout the year. We do Humane Society stuff as well. So it's music lessons, but it's a music community that we're building. So
Right.
all are well.
Yeah. And being part of, the downtown Scotia village, if you will, that, you frequent some of the places, and, you have some of the, now that they know that you're there,
Yep.
they can come in and take a peek and, refer people to you and whatnot. So
Absolutely.
great. Great. Well, Bryan Cady from Scotia Music Academy, and I am Tina Vanderwerker from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
All right, Tina, thank you so much for having me.